Hello Flosstube, my name is Mariam, my pronouns are she, her. You may know me as Madrumi Crafts on Instagram or Madrumi Designs on Etsy. Welcome to my Flosstube. This is a channel about cross stitch. I will occasionally mention other crafts that I partake in, but today we're going to talk about a cross stitch because it's marking a milestone. Today we're celebrating 1 year on Flosstube. Can you imagine? It got away from me. I was not even in, like, it wasn't in my mind that I'm hitting that mark this month in June. But the other day I was checking my email and actually YouTube congratulated me on 1 year on this channel. So yes, it's been a year. So of course we're gonna celebrate that, and what better way to celebrate other than a giveaway. So later in the video I'm going to talk about the items that I'm going to give away to celebrate 1 year on Flosstube. But for now, let's get going because there are other things to celebrate. Mainly I have a FFO, a couple of FOs, finished objects, tons of webs, a lot of plans, and tons and tons and tons and tons of investments. So buckle up, this will be a long one. So let's start with a fully finished objects. Okay, I don't know how I can get it so you can see it, but there is not a lot of reflection. Okay, so this is the fully finished object. I have framed a modern folk embroidery fruits of plenty. I'm hoping that you can see it. This is supposed to be like, this is a museum glass. This is not an actual glass on it, so it should not reflect a lot, but my window gets a lot of light, and so there's, like, I can't avoid it. There will be a lot of light reflecting on it, so I'm trying to avoid the window that's in front of me. So yeah, so this is the finish. I got the frame itself. I didn't actually send it to any shop to professionally frame it. I got the frame and the matting, and this is a double mat, and then I pinned it myself. Oh well, yep, Assad is interested. Yep, okay. So yeah, so this is a frame by Frame It Easy. It's a website. They have limited, I will say, styles of frames, but they're really decent. I'm really happy with the frame, and it's already hung in my living room. Alright, so that was my FFO. Now I have two finished objects to show you. First one is the one that I actually teased you last time, and it's part of the charity bundle that the Stitchers Collective and Starlight Stitchery came up with for Pride Month. So it's a Pride charity bundle, and 50% of all proceeds goes to Rainbow Railroad project, and then the other 50% goes to Transgender Law Center. So we have been informed by Starlight Stitchery like every week by how much we have raised. So far we have raised over $13,000, which is amazing. But it will be great. We still have time until the end of June because the bundle is only available through the month of June. So if you haven't purchased it, please consider it. It's for a great cause, and all the proceeds goes to these two charity organizations, so nothing of it will be spent on anything else. And Starlight Stitchery actually covering all the fees of the payment. If I have not mentioned, is $10 for the bundle. So all the amount goes to these two charities. So the bundle is available throughout the month of June. I'd like to see us hit 15K or even more, but you know, it's like only a week left. So if you have not purchased your bundle, please consider it. There are 16 patterns in the bundle, and last time I teased I gave you a sneak peek of my pattern, so now I'm gonna have the reveal. So this is my contribution to the bundle. It's Cape Honeybee. It's based on Cape Honeybee in the nature that this is the female workers are capable of reproducing asexually. This is one of the examples of having asexuality be presented in nature. So they basically lay eggs that is already fertilized with their own DNA, and those eggs turn into next generation of worker bees. So that's how I identify. So I'm part of the queer community and I identify as asexual. So this was something that is like, for me, an important part of representation, because a lot of times when we get to the later letters, you know, they can be overlooked and just have a plus be replacing them. So I wanted to make sure that A is represented. So yeah, if you notice, it's charted in colors of the ace flag. So you have black, gray, white, and purple. And it's inspired, again, as all of my patterns are, inspired by Persian motifs. Yeah. And it's stitched, the model is a Stitch in Cosmo, and I have provided DMC and Cosmo colors. So if you want to stitch with DMC you can, or if you want to stitch with Cosmo, of course I have provided that charted colors, or you can, you know, use your own colors and stitch it in however you like. And the fabric is 20 count Ada in Mind Blowing from Fortnite Fabrics, which is, you know, again, that's like amazingly representing ace colors. So you have gray, purple, white. There isn't like much black in it, but there was gray, so I thought this was fitting. So I'm gonna leave the link to the Starlight Stitchery website down below. They have two different lengths, two different ways for people to purchase the bundle. Through their own website, that's more recommended for anyone who is in North America. For international customers, they provided a link to a listing on Etsy for the bundle, so you can purchase that if you're international, and it's easier for them to manage all the VAT and, you know, taxes and all of that through Etsy. So for you, if you are overseas, consider purchasing the bundle through the Etsy link. So the next finished object, this was one of the items that came up, one of the prompts that came up for the Wipgo of month of June, which was working on a monochrome project for 6 days. Well, it didn't take 6 days. I finished, I was halfway done, so I had 2 pages to finish. This is Spirits of the Dead by Modern Folk Embroidery. And I finished the second half in 5 days. And it was done. So the fabric is 18 count Ada from Fabric Flair in and it's really washed out. Gets really washed out by the light. It's actually, yeah, this is more accurate. Like, it's more red. It's redder than, yeah. Anyway, so yes, it's red Christmas damask fabric and 18 count Ada, and I use a Sulky blendable in parchment, which is this like creamy brownie, like variegated thread, and I'm really happy with the effect. Next we talk about whips. So the other prompt for Wipgo was full coverage, but I wanted to mainly focus on designers of queer community. So I wanted to make sure that projects that I touch mainly are from the community during the month of June. So instead of working on my full coverage, which is Flavors of Autumn by Mary Weaver, instead of working on that, I decided to work on La Capote, which is a Bella Filipina. So here's my working copy. This is what La Capote looks like. She's gorgeous. And I'm stitching it on 18 count opalescent fabric from Mystic Fabric in Night Sky Jennifer. So this is the fabric. Again, you know the drill. The fabric is not that washed out. You see when I bring it down, this is more close to the actual color. And when I get it up, it's a little washed out. So I stitched on the center piece, so her dress. I haven't been able to finish the page, of course, because this is all fully, should be all filled, but this is how much I was able to stitch in 6 days. I really love this project, and I am not beading because I'm not interested in beading. So instead I replaced all the beads with Petit Treasure braid. So if you see all these sparkly ones, they're supposed to be beads, but they're not. I actually am stitching them all in Petit Treasure braid. Next, I spend a lot of time on my model. So I have been showing this one. I usually just stitch my models, not sharing anything on Instagram or on my Flosstube until they're done and then they're released. However, this one I have been giving you like a sneak peeks here and there. So I'm going to continue with doing that. And I mean, my hope is to release this early in July. I was supposed to be actually finished with this model this past weekend, but here we are. I still have some way to go, but we still have almost a week left in June, so I'm hoping to really focus on it and finish it. So here we are. That top part is all already folded up, so all the border is done, and these two I started on the center design, and then when that is done, then I have to move and finish this, and these inner borders should be done too. So as you see, there are flowers and stuff, and this is charted in DMC. Next, I worked on, I'm 2 months behind on the natural wool style, which is a mystery style throughout this year, and it's by Pixie cross stitch. This is how much of it is already released. So if you see, this is June, right? So we are halfway through, right? So I'm in May, which is in the middle. So I have finished these 2 rows. I need to complete this page and then move to the side and finish June's release, June's drop. This is actually a really quick stitch for me. Realistically, this will take me 1 day, so I'm hoping to be able to finish it in 1 day, maybe today, who knows. And then this one, because it does have the border usually takes a day, and then the rest will take another day. So ideally this whole thing should be done in 3 days, but I don't know if it's between this and my model, and I will prioritize my model first, so I will focus on that, and I try to get that done as soon as possible because I want to release that really early in June, in July, and then I'll move to this for whatever is left from the year, from the month. the year, the month, and I tried to get it as close to catch up. My goal is to catch up. Like I'm trying to get it as close to caught up as possible. So we'll see. We'll see if I can make it or not. If not, I'm not really worried because I can catch up with this easily. Next, you know, I had like an itch to get back to my new year, new start for 2023 because I only stitched on it one night, and then after that I basically threw away whatever I was restitching because the fabric was horrendous. I did not like, I loved the color. The color was really vibrant blue and I loved it. However, the fabric was really stiff and it was shredding my thread, and it was like, it was on my nerve. And this is a large pattern, and I did not want to you know, spend a whole year miserable like a stitching on it. So I put it aside, and then I restarted it later. I just did a little bit of a stitching from the first page, and then I put it aside, and that was that. So it's past like half a year is gone, and I haven't touched this, my new year, new start at all. So I decided to take it out and do, you know, give it some love and stitch a little bit on it. So the pattern called Come to the Garden, but Trees Are Crooked. You see the actual, like what is designed is on this like really warm tones, oranges, yellows, and browns. Even the green is not, has a lot of like brownish tones in it. And that's not really my vibe, but I like the design, so I did something completely different. So I actually changed the color palette to Sulky, and I came up with my own colors. And then if you see, I am stitching it on 18 count Picture This Plus in Mystic. So here we are. So when I restarted it, I had this top line here and this line of the border, and that was it. So I stitched this and these two like greens of those bushes motifs. Yep. And I love this fabric too. It's such a beautiful blue. It's not as vibrant as my original like fabric that I chose for this pattern, but I'm actually really happy with my choice. It's a little darker, but richer, not darker, and makes the colors pop. So I love it. Then I started something that is really unusual for me, but I've been really tempted watching other people do stuff similar to it. Let me show you first, like I'm like fully committed. So this is my project bag. So you see how tiny this is. So you can guess what this is about. So tiny scissors, tiny hoop, let me show you the pattern first. So I'm stitching Celestial Celebration by these 20 stitches. This was a freebie that Uncanny Kari sent via email at the beginning of the year. So it's really small. It's I would say 70 by 30 something. So it's really small. So the original art is by Kari, and the basically turned it into cross stitch pattern. And so my, you know, based on my like new obsession, this is all tied in. So my new obsession is collecting all the work basket patterns. And last video, if you remember, one of the patterns that I received actually was a pack, like it was almost kitted, not fully kitted, but partially kitted, and it had a fabric in it, and it was a linen fabric, and I don't stitch on linen. I never used linen. I'm not interested in learning how to stitch 2/2. I know, controversial, but no. I'm happy with Aida because I feel like stitching for me personally is a way to release stress and relax. And if it turns into something that I need to really fully pay attention to what I'm doing, then it becomes a chore, and I'm not interested in that. So there are so many beautiful Aida options, so why not? So I'm stitching mainly 18 count, 20 count, and recently I have started you know, being interested in 22 counts. So I'm gonna just keep to my higher count Aidas and just leave the rest alone. But I had this fabric laying around and I didn't know what to do with it. Initially I was like, I'm gonna chuck it out. But I was like, you know, that's wasteful. And I have this, and I've been watching people posting about all these tiny stitching thing, and I'm interested to try it. And it's 1/1, so how different can it be from stitching on Aida? It's just tiny. So here's my tiny stitching. I'm almost done. I'm really close to finishing this pattern. I think this is 32, but I don't know. I think this is 32. So I'm stitching 1/1, and I'm using sewing thread. So this is what I'm using. I think this is Coat and Clark, but like it's not marked. This is like an old thread that, you know, was one of like a second-hand pack thing. And the thread, I searched Coat and Clark. I think these are 50 weight, if I'm not mistaken. So they're really, really thin. So yeah, that's what I'm using. And I'm using beading needle, and I've ordered shorter beading needle because what I had in my, I don't do beading, but somehow I had a pack of beading needle, and it's like, do you see how bent it is? That's because it's too long, and you can see it base, you know, it's too long. So when I'm trying to stitch in this fabric that is like everything is so tiny, this gets bent. So I can't wait to get my short beading needle. And I ordered size 10. I have no idea how the sizes in beading needle works, as in like a regular needle. So if I go higher, they're finer. If I go lower, they're thicker. If that is the case, I think I have ordered wrong. The pack that I ordered, no, I should be fine, because the pack that I ordered has 2 sizes in it. They're size 10 and size 12. So I'm hoping one of those works. And these are the beading needle sizes, and they're shorter. So I'm hoping for best. If I mean, so far I'm really enjoying this, and I think this is, I'm tempted to do something larger. On a tinier scale, so like maybe a monochrome sampler, a small sampler, because I spent some time with Nitya, and Nitya shared her tiny stitching with me. She started one of Jacob's like Motherfork embroidery, one of his recent releases, the German something, that are like all these bouquets. So, and he released several sizes and several like similar motifs, but in different patterns. So it's like a collection of patterns. on different sizes, and I think she is stitching the medium size, if I'm not mistaken, all tiny on 40 count, I think. And it was beautiful, like seeing it up close and being able to touch it. It was beautiful. So I'm really tempted to do something similar to that. I'm not gonna go for like 40 counts, because 40 counts I think is too high for me for one-on-one stitching. I think 32, I have no issue stitching on this 32 counts if this is 32. So it's either 32 or 36. So I don't have any issue stitching on this. So I'm thinking that I'm gonna, you know, keep to this count. So I'm gonna order like a small piece of 32 and 36 in lighter colors. And also I am thinking about ordering some silk, 50 weight silk from like there are a couple of brands that make 50 weight silks that are actually like made for sewing machines, but I'm thinking there should be good for hand embroidery, like tiny stitching too. So I'm gonna like order those and try them and see how that works. Now let's move to plans. So last night numbers for Wipgo came out. So by the way, when I say Wipgo is not my idea. It's a brainchild of Jessie Marie Does Stuff. You can always find, because I'm doing Wipgo for like now this is second year. Last year wasn't that successful. This year I find it to be I am more successful, much more successful this year. It's not a chore. It doesn't feel like a chore. It's really easy for me. It's really fun for me to figure out what I want to stitch on, mainly because I don't have projects listed. Instead, I have prompts. So, for example, numbers came out for month of July last night. So 13, which is the middle one for me, is a bonus. So it's already checked. Great. Awesome. And then the other two that came out was 21, which is for me, start something new, and 9, which is for me, so that's what I mean by prompt. So for me, the prompt is start something new and stitch on it for 6 days. And so 6 days on a new start. And number 9 for me is stitch on my smallest whip for 6 days. So so this will tie into like next like plan things. Right, so yeah, so what is Wipgo? So Wipgo is basically like bingo, but for whips. So how it works is you know, Jessie Marie will come up with numbers, will release the numbers for each month. She will give you 2 numbers, and then you work on those 2 prompts. It's your board, you set it up however you want. She does not release anything. You can put one project for every single month and maybe play with how many stitches or how many hours you work on it, or what motifs you want to stitch on. Oh my god. Boy, move. So here's my boy. You want to say hi? Hi. Hi. He sees me talking and he's like, I want to be in the middle. Okay. Where was I? Wipgo. Yes, so she picks 2 numbers for each month, and then you choose what you want to do for, like, you set up your board before the year starts, and then every month she picks those, and then you complete them. When you complete them, you finish the box, that box, and then throughout the year you set up different prizes for yourself. So let's say if you complete a row, you have a specific prize. Let's say you buy yourself something, or you have a new start, right? So whatever it is, it's your board, your rules, whatever you want to do. And then if you completely black out all of the, the whole board at the end of year, you can, give yourself another prize. So it's all up to you and what you want to do. And Asad is right there. Yep. He loves to sit in that corner, which is like my dresser. Just loves there. And if you're wondering what he's staring at, that's his food dispenser. He has one of those automated ones. He's waiting for his food. By the way, he has to wait 40 minutes. So that's how he usually acts. He sits staring at that bowl for half an hour, sometimes even longer. Because he loves food. Alright, so yeah. So, back to plans. So this month, for 21, I have new start. So this ties actually really well into what I was planning to do anyway in the month of July. I was talking to Nitya from Daybreak Stitchery, and we are both interested in starting this specific pattern. Is by, I would say, both of our friends, but I'm gonna just mix myself in, say we're friends. I've never met Sarah, but I'm a huge fan of ModCross. So this is the pattern, Pansy Bloom. So she had another one, which was, I think, Marigold was the other one. So this is the second one. She basically takes a photo from her own garden and then charts it. This is a full coverage pattern, but it's fantastic for someone who has not done full coverage or is not a huge fan of full coverage, because the colors is limited. So she has painstakingly went through the whole pattern. There was no confetti. It's not like she just entered the photo in the software and just let it generate whatever and she will be fine with that. No, she actually went back and painstakingly cleaned it up and made sure there was no rogue, like one single stitch of one color in the middle of sea of other color, which can happen in heights. That's not the case here. So it looks really clean. Let me see how many colors. There are only 13. There are only 13 colors in this. Yeah, this is the other pattern. This was the first one in the series, Marigold. Now this is the second one. Nitya already stitched this and it looks fantastic. And we're both gonna start this in July. And instead of this saying, which is like the name of the flower, underneath we came up with a phrase from a poem, and Nitya actually came up with a phrase from a poem, and we're gonna both replace this with that, and we are gonna use the same phrase for our hashtag. So this is hashtag let us shine, right? Yes, let us shine Sal. And this is a start along. I mean, this is full coverage. Even though this is a small, so it's 93 by 104. So completely doable. It's not like huge, but it still is full coverage, so it's a lot of stitching. So no one is expect you to start this and finish it in the month of July. No. We're gonna start it together because pansies are symbol of resilience and being strong, and they're bringers of a spring. So it's really nice to have something this cheerful, even though it's out of technically out of season. We're in summer, but I love to stitch on something that is, you know, has a message of hope in it. Right? And as per usual, I did my own color conversion. I'm not gonna do a DMC because this is charted in DMC. I'm stitching this on Witchell 20 count Ada in Mossy. It's green, so instead of yellow it's green. And I am using Sulkies. So I have my own Sulky, I made my own Sulky conversion. Should I show you all of them? 13 spools, they're not easy to show. Some, you know what, why not? Let me show you the whole thing. Okay, so 1001, 1218, 1209, 1187, 1124, 1192, 0119, 1122, 1830, 1115, 1254, 1032, and my favorite color somehow actually is like a true conversion to the DMC equivalent here, which is 1189, which is this dark red. Yep, so that's the palette I'm working with. So we are starting our start along both at beginning of July. So if you want to join us, you're welcome to. As I said, there are only 13 colors of DMC. They're really easy to you know, gather, and also pattern, something about pattern. So Sarah has, you can find her on Etsy. I'm gonna actually link all the stores that I mentioned below. So she's on Etsy. She has 2 listings for each of her patterns. One is designed for someone who maybe is used to stitching from a pattern that is larger. So it's large print version, and then there's a regular print version. I think I got the regular, it doesn't have the, yeah, I think I got the regular one. And the regular one, it's, let me tell you how many. Regular one is 66 by 97 in each page. So the whole pattern makes a page and a half. So not bad. But if you want to stitch from like a larger printed pattern, you can, by all means, like I encourage you to buy the large print version, which is easier to see and mark. So for number 9, I have a stitching 6 days on its smallest web. For me, that is Takapu 3. I have finished these 4, so I need to stitch these. I don't think this stitching of these will take 6 days. I think I can finish this sooner, but you know. So this is by Anna Aguayo from Peruvian Flair. As I said, I have finished 4 already. So this is not that big. So if you see, this is what's left. And the most intense square is the middle one, which is the full coverage one, and that's already done. So should be really easy to do. And I'm stitching that on 18 count Ada in light coffee, and I'm using some mystery DMC and other threads from Stash. If I finish Takapu and Takapu, by the way, that is a stitch along. So I started that with Yasmin from Yasmin Made with Love. And it's a start along that we started together. She is stitching on the first one, I think. So we said any of the Takapu patterns, because there are 3 of them, will count. So and it's Takapu Sal with M and Y. So I'm gonna put all the the hashtags in the description box so you know which hashtags to use. So it's Takapu Sal with M and Y. So in case I finish that before that I hit that 6 days mark, I have a backup, which is a mystery black work by Peppermint Purple. So it's Peppermint Purple Sal for 2023, and I have already stitched the border. I have not stitched any of the weekly drops, none yet. So that's what I'm gonna do. So if it comes up, and in each setting I can stitch 6 weeks, 6 drops, 6 squares easily. So I think I will be able to catch up with, you know, this whole thing. Stitch now, half of the year is gone, so we should have enough squares for me to be able to stitch doing whatever is remained after I finish the couple. And this is on 16 count hand-dyed Ada by Mislaid Pages. It doesn't have a name, but I love this color. Again, it's washed out. It's bright pink, and I'm stitching it in one strand of DMC 820. So this is DMC 820. In case you're curious, so this stitch along is open for the whole year, so you still can sign up for it if you're interested in signing up. Other than that, my other goal is to design at least one more pattern for the month of July, and fingers crossed be able to release this model that I just shared with you, that pattern at the beginning of July, and hopefully by mid-July I have another pattern to release. It's a small and it's part of a series, so I want to make sure that I am able to provide that because it's seasonal, so I need to get going because summer is ending soon. So we're in the middle of summer, so I wanted to make sure that I have chance to release that in month of July. Yeah, so that will be for me in terms of like releasing patterns. Those 2 are my goals for month of July. If anything else comes out, yes, like I have other patterns that I'm working on. The Weird and Wonderful, someone asked me if other patterns are coming out. I have been struggling with one pattern. I think I had a breakthrough a couple nights ago when I started tackling it again. This was the 4th time I was trying to design this pattern, and it's like it was not working out the other 3 times. And I think finally I'm at the point that I'm sort of okay with what I came up with, and I just need to finish it and then think about it, sit on it, and then if I'm okay with it, I'm gonna model stitch it. So that will be for August release if that happens. I don't think I will be able to finish model stitching with everything else that's going on in the month of July, so that's something for later. All right, so what is left is Stitchy Kindness, investments, and shout out. But before any of that, let's talk about giveaway. Yay! Okay, so first of all, rules. You must be 18 or older. I prefer you be subscribed, so I like to give away to people who are actually hanging around and are my subscribers, so please do that. I'm not gonna check, but I prefer if you're a subscriber. And also, this is the first portion that I'm going to share with you. The patterns, the printed patterns, are only open to people in US. So US only for printed patterns. So please, please, please don't mention prize, giveaway, any of those keywords that you know bots will look for and search for. So don't do that. Just like the other time, please use a number related to that pattern in your comment. Have a space between. If you're entering more than one number, make sure that you have a space in between so it comes up separately from the other numbers, from the other digits. And I want you to not type in, I want it to be in digits. So first pattern is 3D Autumn Cat by Cotton Pixels. So this is a cool pattern. You can stitch it as like a regular and finish it in a hoop. I wouldn't do this. At least I will stitch the border in cat's border in lighter color, so it will show up on black fabric. Or you can finish it as sort of like a stuffy, which is so cool, right? So you can do it both ways. And this is, let's see how big it is. It's really small. It's 38 by 59, and there are specialty stitches in this. So specialty stitches, and they're suggesting 2 beads, or you can just do I think you can just stitch instead of using beads if you want to. So this is number 1. Then Friends Are Like Flowers. Okay, so this is by Rosewood Manor, and I think this is over 1, the writing, if I'm not mistaken. I'm not sure, but this is like really cute. It says, friends are like flowers, you can never have too many. So it's a really cute stitch. So that's number 2. Number 3 is by Tiny Modernist, Stitching Men's. It says Stitching Men's the Soul, and this is 68 by 92. Let me see if I have the size of this. So this is 95 by 119. So this is number 3, and it's 68 by 92. Ooh. And then I have 2 that are a stitch pass. So I actually stitched these 2, and I'm now passing them as a giveaway. The pattern are not marked. I only opened the seal once to make a copy, because I always use working copy. I never stitch from the actual pattern itself. So the first one is Cross Patch by Pixie Cross Stitch. So this is that nursery rhyme. This border is everything. This is such a cute pattern, right? This is 124.99. So this will be number 4, and number 5 is Boss from Therese by Bendy Stitchy. So Michelle's pattern. I loved stitching this, absolutely loved it. And it's not that big either. It's 98 by 107. So I did my own Sulky conversion when I stitched this, and it was so much fun. If you are interested in experimenting with colors, this is a great pattern for that, because there are flowers. So go wild, do whatever you want, who cares? So you can stitch it in different tones, different colors. If you have some leftover variegated flosses from different kits and different projects, stitch each flower in a color. It's so easy to use that, because it's like it requires so little of each of those flosses that this is a great stash buster leftover thread project. So that's number 5. Okay, so again, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Okay, so if you're international only, and you want to win a prize, I am giving one of my own patterns from my Etsy shop. So you can go on Etsy, check my shop. I will link everything down below. Check the shop and see what you like, and then if you win, you can ask for that specific pattern. I'll email you, and you can give me that information. If you are interested, again, so if you are interested in international, if you're international and you are interested in winning a prize from this giveaway, it will be one of my designs. So to get that, you need to enter number 6. Okay, so we had 5 printed patterns, and number 6 is for international subscribers who are interested in winning one of my own designs. All right, so good luck everyone, and I will be commenting under your comment before I upload my next video to let you know if you have won. Okay, so that's out of the way. I have one Stitchy Kindness. So again, I was sharing last video that I am really obsessed with Work Basket. I have been collecting their patterns and doing that like whole ordeal. There was a couple of patterns that I was really interested in and I have not been able to find. One is my unicorn. I don't think I will ever be stitching that, like, because it's like really rare now and you cannot find it. It's a Stitch in Time. By the way, if you have it and you don't want it, contact me. If you are holding on to the pattern because you want to stitch it, or you have stitched it but you still want to hold on to it, but you're willing to have me borrow it, I'll be glad to just stitch it and return it to you. So that was Stitch in Time by Stitching Time by Workbasket. And if you don't know, that's what it's look like. The other pattern that I mentioned was Quaker Crow, which I purchased at a time 3 times and had not heard from any of them. By the way, the third store finally emailed me and let me know that unfortunately they cannot fulfill my order, so they canceled it. So yeah, and then I shared that I'm struggling. This is like I haven't been able to find it. I'm looking for it. And then Barb messaged me on Instagram letting me know that she has an extra copy of Quaker Crow, and somehow by mistake she actually ordered it twice and received 2 different copies and is willing to send me one. So nice. So nice. So I said, of course, yes. And she also included this beautiful card. This is art by Cole Mitchell, paper artist. She's from Canada, and this is a local artist to her. Look at how beautiful this is. I love it. And some very nice words. And I appreciate her words very much. And Quaker Crow, I finally have it. I'm so glad. Yes, this is. I'm so happy. So thank you very much, Barb. This was very nice and generous of you. All right, let's talk investments, and then we're gonna have one shout out and we wrap this up because it's already been too long. Okay, so first I'm gonna tackle all the other like different orders here and there that I made, and then I'm gonna talk about what I bought from Black Cat Stitchery. That was our road trip. Okay, so I purchased from Mislaid Pages. It was their birthday, and they're generous so much that they actually run sale for their birthday. So of course I made and I had a gift card from their store as well, so I was like, yes. So I have been eyeing this pattern forever and ever. Hope there it is. It's 117 by 117. And then the Dinky Die pack of all the new colors. Let me take them out. So that's the pack. Okay, let me show you one by one. So this one is Hollyhock. This one is Crimson. This one is Pine. This is Avocado. This is Pecan. Do you say pecan or pecan? I say pecan. This is Clay. This is Seafoam. And Fiji. So these are all the new colors that they offered in the market, 2023 market. Then from Stitchy Princess, she was running another like birthday sale on her Etsy shop. This is Winter Forest. and Mushroom Meadow. Then I got my Just Cross Stitch magazine in mail, and I'm going to show you one pattern that I'm really interested in, and it's by someone from Stitchers Collective. So this is by Lindsay by Counting Puddles, and it's called Sweet Summertime. Just look at that. I love how there are all these like motifs, and it's not a solid stitching. I mean, it's solid stitching, but it's not solid color stitching. There are a lot of like motifs in throughout. So cute. And again, ModCross. If you sign up for her newsletter, she sends these freebies, and this is a beautiful freebie called Should. So don't should on yourself. I should stitch this for my office, and I will do that. And I'm thinking about, like, there are a few people that I think will benefit from this message, so I may actually give them those. And this is from XStitch Design. She has this for Remembrance Day. It's a beautiful pattern. I'm just contemplating if I want to be brave and stitch this in gold, actual gold thread, because you know how difficult it is to stitch in metallic. But I'm really tempted on actually stitching this in gold, and I have like crimson red Ada that I think this will look really good on. We'll see. And then from Yasmin Made with Love, I got this. Has been in my favorite list for a long time, so love makes everything easy. I'm not sure if I'm gonna keep the wars there or not. I may just pick a really good mottled like fabric and leave the background empty. I don't know. Then for also Juneteenth, I went a little ham and I bought all the patterns that I have on my wish list from Shaded Stitchery. So Nori, first of all, Nori released this beautiful pattern for Juneteenth, which is, just look at those motifs. Beautiful, right? And then I had Keepsake, I think 2, so I had to get the first one. So I did it backward. I first got the second one, now I'm getting the first one. And my necessity, of course. So these were all on my wish list, so I just went, So I just bought them all. Then me and Nitya from Daybreak Stitchery, we went on our second road trip. Guess what? We only took one single photo, and this is it. I mean, 1 is better than 0, because last time we went on a road trip, we took 0 photos. So this time at least we took a photo with the sign. I swear I will get better. I promise. I promise if we go on a next like trip, like I'm thinking I'm getting better. So first time I was really overwhelmed with everything around me, so I didn't even think about taking a photo. This time around I remembered at the door to take a photo, and I was like, okay, when we get there I'm gonna just get situated and then go on a tour first myself, and then do a second round and just take photos. Didn't happen. This one, Black Cat Stitchery, is in Winthrop Harbor in Illinois, so it's really close to Wisconsin. It's not that close to us. So Nitya is in the suburb of Chicagoland, I'm in Chicago, so it's not that close to us. It's not like it's a drive, but you know, it was worth it. And we were there on Wednesday, and apparently they have a stitchy day on Wednesdays, and we didn't know about it. So people were around stitching, we were not, because we didn't bring any whips to do that. But nevertheless, we had tons of fun. So we thought Black Cat Stitchery is a smallish store, so we're not gonna have a lot of, like, you know, not going to spend a lot of time there. So we were planning on hitting another LNS, and then on our way back to go to this waste shed, which is a thrift store for art and craft, which is in Evanston, a suburb of Chicago. I mean, we spent all of our time and our money in Black Cat Stitchery. I mean, and I honestly, I could have spent even more and spent more time there. It was a fantastic experience. First of all, great customer service, fantastic attitude. Everyone was absolutely friendly. Absolutely friendly. So I'm really cautious of my presence in different spaces and how people react to me. I noticed that Nitya has the same, like, situation, you know, being part of, like, a minority. We're not white, and I have this, so it's not, we don't look like a typical stitcher, or what you expect. I mean, I don't know what do you expect a stitcher will look like, but anyway, so I'm really self-conscious and aware of my presence in these kind of spaces, and how people perceive me and how people receive me. It was absolute delight. Everyone was super friendly, and I'm not talking about just the owner, no. Every single person who came in for the stitchy time, or they were just shopping around, they were all super friendly. All of them were really happy to talk, answer questions, to suggest things, and yep. Can you pass? Go. So yeah, everyone was super duper friendly. So I had fantastic time, and we agreed that we need to visit Black Cat Stitchery at least quarterly, because that's how much of a good time we had, both of us had there. It was really fun. So that's in the making. Hopefully hopefully sometime soon we'll be able to get back there. So before I went there, I actually came prepared. I thought I was prepared. In my mind, I was like, so I'm gonna take one of my work basket patterns and just kit it up there, right? And I actually had a fabric with me, a 20 count Ada, a bluish, like really light blue fabric with me, and I was planning on just kitting up the overdyed thread for this. And I was just trying to go by the image, just ignore what is called for, and just go with what I think will be best. And I get there, of course, there are so many things and so many options. They're overwhelming. But so I kitted it up. I'm gonna show you what I kitted up, with, and then all the other things that I bought that I did not plan to buy. My plan was only kitting up this, but So by the way, this is God's Critters by Work Basket. For this, I went mainly with color and cotton threads. So this one is Lemon Tart. This is Caribbean. This is Abyss. This is Marina. This is Sweet Potato. This is Ultramarine. So beautiful. This is Majesty. This is Caramel Brownie. This one is Dracula. Then I added some cottage garden threads for a couple of other brand that I do not buy from that was called for in Tarnish, which is pink and greens. And this is Hearth. So I have two of this. And there are two bunnies in this pattern that you cannot see because even on the model they stitched it in white and they use a really light fabric. So there are two bunnies here and there that you don't see them. They're not visible because of the thread. So I originally picked white and it didn't really pop. So then Erica from Black Cat Stitchery, the owner, suggested to use what's it called? The Simply Wool, the Gentle Art Simply Wool in driftwood. So I've never stitched with these, so it's interesting. It says it's color fast and light fast, so it will give me this fuzzy look. And they're light, but they're not that light, and it's variegated. So I think the bunnies will look nice with this. So yeah, so that was as for threads, and then I color tossed them on that fabric that I brought with me, and I was not that happy about it. It was not the best, so of course you have to buy fabric now. And this is the fabric that I bought. This is 20 count in Mimosa Green. So I bought a fat quarter. And this is not this wash. It's not this washed out. You know the drill. It's green. It's, for some reason it shows more gray here, but it's not. But you know, what can you do? And then I was like, why stop there? So I bought some other fabrics. I'm going to show you the fabrics first, and then we're going to go for the rest of the stuff that I bought. So I'm trying to have my mom, teach my mom to stitch. So I got her those like canvases that are printed on, and it's like they make those pillowcases and you basically stitch with yarn. And she did the first one, she's doing the second one, and it's almost done. And then I want to transition her to more actually of counted cross stitch, and she's like insisting that 11 count holes are too small and she cannot see it. So guess what, I found her 7 count. So this is a 7 count cream cluster, and I bought a fat half for her. My plan is to actually design something for her that are like in 10 by 10 square, like it's like a mosaic kind of design, and then I will grid this for her with washable pen, and then basically have her stitch in both, like all 6 strand of DMC, which how she likes to do it on this. And I bought this too. She says this is too dark for her, but you know, we're gonna try. So this is another piece. This is fat quarter Again, 7 count, and clustering in sand. This is sand. So those were the fabrics that I purchased. Then I was on a roll with kitting up things, so I wanted to kit up another thing with cottage garden thread because I have never seen them in person, and I was really excited to have seen them in person. So I picked up this, which is Heart in Hand Cuckoo Bird sampler, and it does come with beads. I don't want to flash you the actual design, and I'm planning on stitching it in this, which is golden gully. Right. Then I picked up, because we were in Black Cat Stitchery, we have to pick up something with Black Cat on it. So Fall Black Cat by Stitch and Needs. And then I found another work basket, a band sampler this time, and I found this cross stitch and needlework magazine from back in the day. The reason I picked it up was because, let me show you, it has a whole article about Jacob, and it includes one of his samplers, so this is in there. So when I was talking about tiny stitching, this is a sampler that I think I will try to stitch in tiny format. And then I was enabled by Nitya. This is the least of the fleet. I have been like eyeing this, but this time I actually Nitya pushed me over the edge. So I picked this up, and then of course I was standing by silks. I didn't go with the called for, which is Gloriana. Instead, I picked up these silken colors because I love this. Look how beautiful. And this is the accent color. So I'm gonna stitch these. So majority of it will be in this, which is the darker red, and then instead of those lighter ones, I'm stitching the light sections in this. So these are called Egyptian Nights, and this is Gold Coast. And I have dyed myself a piece of 22 count Ada in this gray, which will give it like a stormy night sea, a stormy sea kind of look, right? And these are the, let's do a floss toss. Right. So this is 22 count, so I should be able to stitch with one strand. Okay, so that was all that I purchased from Black Cat Stitchery. Also, I forgot, this was another purchase. At the time when I recorded video last time, this was already purchased, but I was waiting for it to arrive, so now it's arrived. It's peacock number 2. Just look at those funky peacocks. I'm obsessed with funky peacocks and funky animals in general that they design. This is 135 in 167, so it's not huge. Yeah, some of their patterns are deceiving. You think that they're small, but then you look and they're 200 something by 300 something. They're huge, some of them. So yeah, And I have already purchased I have made a couple of orders, one with an online shop for 5 additional patterns, and then they had a sale, and then another one on eBay, which I have purchased and I'm waiting for it to arrive. So at this point, after these arrive, I have not seen any other pattern out there that I have been really interested in purchasing. I bid on one on eBay, and I lost because like it was going up, and I was like, I'm not paying that much money for one pattern when I can basically pay the same amount and get few. So that's it. So after those all arrive, then afterward I'm not gonna actively search. I'm still gonna keep an eye out for Stitch in Time, because that's one like pattern that I think it has got away. If anything else pops up, I mean, I have notification for eBay. If anything pops up that like I really am interested, I'm gonna buy it. Otherwise, that will be it in terms of what I have purchased from Workbasket. Next video, I'm hoping by then I have all of the patterns like here with me. I'm gonna just show all of that to you, because I did not notice how many I have until like I started listing them, because I made a list because I want to make sure I'm not, you know, purchasing any pattern twice. So I made a list of all the patterns that I have, and I have quite a few. So yeah, that's a lot. But you know what? It's my passion. This is the, you know, it's not only, I always like tell myself, this is not only for stitching, but also it's in a way, as a designer, is a way of, it's research, because I am really interested in their patterns. They sometimes they have they use, I noticed that they use some of the motifs, they reuse them in other patterns in a different way, so you can tell that they have tweaked some of the birds, that couple of their squirrels especially, it's like repeated in different patterns. So I'm really interested in just studying it, because it's really it's fascinating to see how they look really different. So if in one class you cannot tell that you have seen the same motif somewhere else, but in reality it's repeated from another pattern that they have used, and they're not hiding it. Majority of the time, if they have reused the same motif, they're in a description of the pattern is printed in there that, oh, by the way, we love this motif so much that we decided to reuse it here as well, which is like so honest, and I love that. So anyway, at least this is what I tell myself, that this is not just a collection, this is research for my work. Anyway, yeah, the way we justify. Yes. Okay, so before I wrap up, I have one last thing, which is a shout out to a very new Flosstuber with a very unique take on Flosstube, which I really appreciate. So Electra Silver Fox, I'm gonna actually shout out 2 people, but this Electra Silver Fox is a new Flosstuber. When I say new, I mean brand new. He only has 1 video, and thanks to Nitya, she actually was watching him and shouted him out on Instagram. So I went there, watched his video, and was like, yeah, this is unique. I'm up for this. And I love his taste in patterns. He is really artistic. His floss tubes are in black and white. I actually challenge you to watch his video, because it's so soothing, because it's all in gray tones, right? He, of course, when he's talking about a specific project, he will pop an image a photo of, like a color photo of the project on the screen, so you can say, like you can tell what is what and what it will look like. But when he's talking, actively holding up his project, everything is in black and white, and it's fascinating. I find it really meditative. Also is really interesting challenge in understanding tones and how they work, because a lot of times we really are focused on the colors alone and not understanding how different tones affect how we see a pattern, a color on a fabric, a specific piece of fabric. So yes, go give him a watch. I will link him down below. The other person that I have mentioned already 2 times in the video, I'm gonna give her another shout out, is Sarah from ModCross. She has so few followers, but I think she's a fantastic designer. She's a great Flosstuber. Oh my god, there's a storm outside. I don't know if you can hear it. It's storming. It's getting scary. It's got really, really dark all of a sudden. Okay, let's wrap this up. So yeah, she makes great floss tubes. She lives in a farm, so she shares some of those tidbits and a little bit of videos and photos of her animals on the farm. So it's really interesting and fascinating to see that. Also, she has fantastic freebies and also patterns on Etsy. So please, please, please check her out. Check both of them out. Give them a follow. Watch their videos. Like their videos, and also follow them on Instagram as well, because both of them are on Instagram as well. Alright, so before this storm takes us, I don't know where, let's wrap this up. It's getting scary. Alright, so take care of yourself. I hope that, oh, one more thing I did forget. So I actually bought one more thing from Black Cat Stitchery, which was this. A Stitcher's lotion. Highly recommend. Fantastic. Fantastic lotion. I've been trying it. I've been using it, especially when I stitch with the thread that is usually gets stuck to my fingers, because my hands are really dry. This is a fantastic lotion for that. So yeah, Stitcher's lotion. Not sponsored, but you know, I forgot. It was just sitting in the corner. So anyway, so let's wrap this up. Take care of yourself as much or as little as you stitch this coming month. I hope that is enjoyable to you, and be kind to one another. Bye.